feel like fighting games don't get a lot of credit when it comes to their amazing soundtracks. Now, all of us who love video game music know and recognize that fighting games, just like first-person shooters, have incredible OSTs that deserve to be celebrated. My name is Marco. I'm a former professional opera singer, and I love talking about video game music from an emotional perspective after spending a decade plus talking about it and singing it on the stage. Let's check out right away Under Night in Birth, Sis Celeste, what the hell is this title? Blood Drain again, Eltnum's theme. I've never heard this before. I have no idea what this is. Yeah. Oh, whoa. 6 syncopation shift. Slight delay. Nice doubling there. Da da da. Yeah, before we listen to another loop of that, I think it's really cool to stop and start a little bit and talk a little bit about characterization, because, I mean, I think a lot of fighting themes rely on characterization, whether it's of an environment or of a character. We see that a lot with Guilty Gear, of course, and Blaze Blue to a same degree, I'm pretty sure. What's really cool is that we hear the forward momentum in the rhythm. The rhythm is the tempo and the rhythm are the things that kind of keep this train moving. And on top of that, what I find really interesting is how kind of emotional. Now that's a thing in general that we see with the electric guitar, is that the electric guitar is an incredibly, when we're not using voice, and I wasn't sure if we were going to go into voice with this, the electric guitar is always the thing that ends up being the closest thing to the voice when it comes to a sense of strength, a sense of virility, a sense of confidence, a sense of masculinity. I mean, this was very anime opening coded as well, but I like the part where it goes, and it really does feel like, I'm here. I am not going to stop for nothing. I am going to fight for this. I have got strength. I've got confidence. I've got virility. I have confidence. Sorry, I'm thinking about Sound of Music. I have confidence that spring will come again, but as I can see, I have confidence. Just call me Julie Andrews. But there's something about that particular theme that feels very like, you know what? No one's going to stop me. It doesn't feel like it's like, what are you going to do? It's not tough. It's not like, I mean, yes, obviously it's probably some like super jacked young dude that's like ready to completely mess someone's stuff up, but at the same time there's an emotion in there, and then we hear that in the electric guitar, that feeling of like drive. Oh, it's not a loop. Whoa, that's awesome. Yeah, let me just pause one more time. I'm going to try to keep it to like maybe 2 or 3 pauses per track, just because, you know, we want to keep the train moving, and also like I'm also enjoying listening to these for the first time. But there's something to be said for the piano here. The piano adds to that layer of confidence, but also it's interesting because it's in the upper register. Usually when we're in the upper register, there is a degree of like emotionality in that sound. I mean, the upper register tends to be like has a more feminine quality to it. It's a brighter quality. So either way, there's a sense of optimism in that upper register. Again, if it was in the middle low, that would be a different discussion. What a way to make it interesting, because this could easily have been really kind of repetitive and redundant, especially on a loop. But instead, it actually fleshes itself out, which is really fun to listen to. Oh, Whoa, that's cool. Oh my god, that's awesome. Oh my god, I love that. Going higher and then again, that delay, that slight delay is really special. And then we slow down. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I don't even know what this game is. Cis, Celeste, Sunder, Night, and Birth. And again, I think the reason why I like it so much is that it's melody forward. And while it does have tempo, it does have rhythm, it does have movement, which I think are key and important. I don't think we're going to hear a single slow song in this, but I do believe that the melody is the thing that drives it forward, and it sets home the intentions, or at least the thought process, at least to me, of course. This is all up to interpretation. I don't know the context, none of that stuff, right? Whatever. And also, like, the idea of right and wrong or true or not true. Yes, we have to pay homage to what's happening on the screen. But I challenge you, like, if I'm wrong about characterization and stuff, listen to the piece again, see the context, experience the context, and then take it away anyway. Like, listen to it for the sake of listening to it, because it's a damn good piece of music. And I think that it will actually make the context much more meaningful when you have like an appreciation for the sounds that are being created for specific characters, in this case, Eltnum's theme. Yeah, what an awesome piece. Next up is one of my favorites. I probably won't talk too much, honestly, because I have a full video on this that you can check out here. This is Super Smash Bros. Brawl main opening theme. One of the truly best. I really believe that this piece, you could put this in a symphony hall today, in any symphony hall in the United States and Europe, and people would not know the freaking difference. And on top of that, I also think that it would be lauded and celebrated and adored. We have to get over these prejudices of not featuring video game music in symphony halls because of this, that, or the other. Let's get rid of the barriers, because the main opening theme from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, chef's kiss. Honey mama. Honey mama. Also low-key, first of all, I love the march element to it. I mean, the snare drum and the flutes, like, it feels very much like there's a thing in opera and classical music called a marziale, which is basically just like a marching piece, right? I mean, the snare is such a synonymous thing with march, of course, and that rhythm. This tenor solo is actually like extremely legit. Not only that, but the singer is extraordinary. The actual solo itself is like terrifically written. And I gotta hold myself back because I might end up singing it. That's not a threat, but it is a promise. The slowdown here, oh man, it looks so good. This is so... And then we slow down. Oh, this is glorious. Acapella? Now we pick back up with this... Nice sforzando there where we crescendo and swing into small and large. Classic like Hollywood. It has a lot of ebbs and flows that are really satisfying to listen to. You know, obviously the first half of it's very energized, very galvanized, very focused. Then when we come into the operatic section, that's really like about like, oh man. And I think if I remember correctly, when I looked up the lyrics a long time ago, this song is really about celebration. It's about like joining in with your friends, and it's not about vicious enemies. It's about celebrating conflict and celebrating battle and celebrating like each other's strengths, and there's a real almost a camaraderie about it that just it just lifts you up, and I mean there's a reason why it's one of the best pieces of video game music ever written, and I know I talked over it a lot, but it's just like it's a divine piece of music that if you had never heard before, by golly, you better go and listen to it like 10 more times, because it just does the thing. It gets you amped up. That is the point of so much of this fighting game music, is to make you feel like you're capable of doing something. Really, that is the purpose. Oh yeah, of course, we're going to have fighting music where there's tension and there's sadness maybe, but like in general, most fighting game tracks are like, hey, wake up, let's go, baby. And I think that, you know, Brawl, oh man, it's so damn good. Now, historically, I have not really known or heard very much Street Fighter. And in fact, I have a video game music quiz series that I consistently get Guile's theme wrong. Oh wait, I know this. Ooh. This is F-Zero. F-Zero. Yeah. Fuck. I think now I'd be able to pick it up. Street Fighter has kind of been under the radar for me. This is Street Fighter Third Strike Killing Moon. Oh, cool. Okay, this is Akuma's stage. Oh, neat. Akuma's like the only Street Fighter character I actually am remotely interested in. Wow. You know, I just want to stop there really quickly because I've been playing a lot of Sonic, and there's a lot of this quality in the drum and beat, and I actually have really fallen crazy for this type of rhythm. And on top of that, Akuma's a really interesting character to me. I don't know Akuma's backstory at all, but Akuma's like look is truly like iconic. When I think of Street Fighter, I think of Akuma, and I think of Vega of all characters. I don't know why, those are the two that I'm like, oh yeah, that's Street Fighter. Like, they're great. But the sort of like flute in there also has an edge of danger to it that I find really interesting. Mixed in with that drum and beat pattern, it really like sends home this sort of suaveness, this ability about it, like a feeling of strength. The rhythm pattern already moves us and already gets us going, but it's nice because the juxtaposition of that, and I know we're gonna deviate from it because it's, you know, that was the introduction. The flute does a great job of like having this like sort of elegance, you know, whether it's in like a temple. Obviously this is a stage, and it's also at nighttime. You know, I can picture the moon, and I can picture like just like maybe some lights, but really it's kind of like almost like a placid sort of like, man, why are they fighting there? Like there's an elegance about it. But I think that the D&B pattern lends itself to danger. Yeah, I'm gonna stop one more time too, because what's really cool in here is that we got this. It sounds like essentially the bass. And again, I think like there's a real body in that sound. And I don't know if this stage represents Akuma or not. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that it does. I mean, that bass is really like, we're like thinking of the size of Akuma or the strength of Akuma. More so, I think that having the bass in the background is such a prominent instrument, I think also lets us understand how dark this stage is. And again, how kind of risky it is to be in there, but it's not like a risk like danger. It's like, ooh, you shouldn't be here. And I really like that sound. It's cool. Oh. Whoa. What? It sounds like a dog. Ba 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 ba. I wonder if that's like the chaos. That's cool. Like a slight rewind. It shifts rhythm. It shifts meter. Yeah. Also, just the such a subtle little dangerous sound, right? That's like, oh, you shouldn't be here. The uniformity of the sound when it's just the flute sound, when it moves into like the sort of dog barking or like the jaggedness, it's probably not actually a dog, but like the jaggedness of it, that is like when we're running out of options, right? Like that's final round. That's like when the stakes are really high. That's when there's actual stress. Yup, 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 yup. Such a subtle shift. And yet we're like, oh, I gotta get this done. You know what I mean? Like there's an anxiety that emerges when we remove the legato elegance of the I mean, so subtle and probably not even true, but it's really fun to go there headcanon wise and be like, oh yeah, that's probably because it's the final round. So there's more anxiety, there's more stress, there's more of this, there's more of that, right? I mean, I love that. So Calibur is a funny one for me because I know that it's actually pretty orchestral. Based on the limited amounts of Calibur I've listened to, I gotta tell you, I do love me some. Wait, Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu is from Calibur or Tekken? Well, anyway, Calibur 2, history unfolds the character select screen from this game. Yeah. The choir in the background. Man. Dude, that's incredible. I mean, like that to me, I'm like naturally drawn to that. And like, now I'm like, oh, I need to hear the rest of the Calibur soundtrack. And I've heard a couple other themes that are pretty orchestral. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's how you write orchestral fighting game music. It's actually insane how, you know, we have so many different iterations of what fighting game music can sound like. But the fact that we're like not shy of doing this, you know, strong rhythm, forward movement, symphonic writing with a gorgeous, delicious melody. I mean, it's really hard to deny that like even orchestral classical writing can be as powerful as say, drum and bass or EDM, which I know we have quite a bit in Street Fighter 6 or whatever genre. Like I sometimes feel like there's a little bit of apologizing that has to happen to feature orchestral music in like non-JRPGs or like open world games, but like that slaps. It's such a simple piece, incredibly melodic, satisfying to listen to. You feel ready to go, and that's all through orchestra and through strings and through, you know, a pretty decent rhythm and tempo ultimately is everything with this style of game. But it was nice to hear some like real fluid, playing in this particular case. And yeah, I'm a fan. There's a lot of Soul Calibur I'd actually like to dive into, and I don't know why, but I have this instinctual like urge to be like, I think Soul Calibur is probably the best fighting game. No idea why I think that. It's also not even true, but that's where I'm at. My body is telling me no. No, my mind is telling me no. It's irrelevant. Next up is Melty Blood Actress Again Current Code. Huh? Elegant Summer from Melty Blood Actress Again Current Code. What the fuck is this? Wow. Jazz. Again, walking bass. Yeah, I really like this for a couple different reasons. One is how smooth it is. I think this actually deviates from some of the things that I was just saying about how like we wouldn't want smoothness necessarily for fighting games because they tend to be fast rhythmically and stuff. This actually does the opposite, which I think works actually incredibly well. We're sitting back, and it's more of like looking out and being like, so what? What are you gonna do? What? Come on. Jazz is interesting because I think in the context of video game music, I think jazz does a great job. I mean, obviously it means like a million different things when it comes to, when it's implemented and how it's implemented. But in this particular case, Elegant Summer, there's like a chill vibe to it. Like, what are you going to possibly do? You can't take me on. It's very, very, very smooth. And I think like that's actually what makes it kind of dangerous and kind of exciting because it's like, the fuck you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like it's extremely chill and incredibly satisfying to listen to because it's both relaxing and it strikes you into action. Now we get to of course Tekken, and I mean most people love Tekken's music and for good reason. I mean it's consistently good. I don't know how the music in Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection is, but we're gonna check out Snow Castle, which must be again not to be confused with Snow. No, don't make that joke. Whoa. What? Baroque. That's gorgeous. What? Jesus. Oh my god, I love this. Oh my god, that guitar is going absolute bananas up top. This is Goshina, makes sense. Down, 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 down. Yeah, see, there are some tracks that you just like click with and it makes sense. Like Goshina also does not shy away from like genre bending. Goshina is insane. I mean, like we hear it with Duomo di Sirio, we hear it with the Colosseum track. Also, the incredible Baroque section in here is absolutely nuts. Like the movement here is such a genre bend, and I think it's like the thing that makes me love video game music more than any other genre that exists, including classical music, because it's so spicy and all of it is unique. And mixing and matching things like this is just incredible. The first of all, the vocal chant is so empowering, so seductive, so dangerous, and then the emotion that comes through on the electric guitar is incredibly satisfying to listen to, because it feels like it's also like the two things are elevating each other at the same time. So there's like a, I think more than anything, the word that just came into my brain was homogenization. Now Tekken occasionally in each game does have some similarities from the previous ones in terms of its soundtracks, but the soundtracks for this and all the other fighting games that we've been listening to so far is the lack of homogenization. It does not sound like everything is different. It's not always the same sound where it's all blurring together and you kind of like, oh, that's just what fighting games sound like. Like that track is sick to the point that we're going to re-listen to it because it's just incredibly satisfying to experience that. And I just love the chant. Let's re-listen so I can really, because honestly, like I was so like caught off guard by it that I barely even thought about what was happening musically. Yeah, so you can chant right away, but then the electric guitar's upper register takes it so that it actually feels like the chant and the electric guitar merge into one, which is insanely cool because it has, especially because of where it is in the upper register, we have that yell, that kind of primal scream sound, but it happens in the electric guitar, not in the voices. And then here we get this almost like drum and bass, but not quite. And then the chant is just popping off. But again, because of where it is in the register, there's such a pronounced way of producing it. Oh, God. Oh, this is insane. This is like a fugue. I mean, like that's nutty. Using the violins like it's such a classical writing movement there. It's just, I mean, it's hard. With a person with my kind of background, I can't help myself. Like when I hear that, I'm like, oh, it's Baroque. Oh. Plus with a little bit of beat underneath. Oh, and then the reset. The reset is so satisfying. Listen to this reset. And then we kick in. And now we've got doubling. Or at least harmonizing. And on top of that, you have this terrific brass that's just supporting it, the chords. Da, pia, pia. I mean, it's like an incredible combination of instruments there. Yeah, that's insane. That's incredible. That goes up there with me with Duomo di Sirio. There's a couple tracks from Tekken 8 that also I feel are as good. I mean, Goshina is just like one of the best video game music composers for a reason, and Goshina never fails to like enrapture and it. I have no words. I'm actually kind of speechless. Let's check out the King of Fighters 98 Slugfest London March. Now, the only other King of Fighters track I've actually ever heard is No Arashi Saxophone. I think that's the one it's called. Anyway, this is London March. Let's check it out. Bah! Push it. Yeah, I mean, this piece definitely is a product of its time. I actually am not crazy about this particular piece because it just kind of stays in its lane, and it's just very consistent in what it does. Now, that being said, what I think it does really well is you do feel the sense of power and Billy Kane's like kind of like a force of nature energy. That's really the thing that kind of is consistent in that piece. And I also just think it could have been developed more for my own personal taste. But that being said, there is that forward drive that we talked about earlier, which is what we kind of expect with fighting game themes, where we feel that sense of drive, we feel that sense of forward momentum, and we feel that sense because of the rhythm of this piece on top of the guitar, the emphasis on like raw natural power. Like this is like pure fists. This isn't any kind of like superpowers. There's nothing involved in that. This is just like in the ring, fighting each other, bruised and battered, bloody knuckles. Like that's the kind of sound that kind of comes across in this. I just personally am not really a fan of the sort of one dimension of it, even though it's like a perfectly fine, good piece. It's just very much sounds like 1998, if that makes sense. But it's cool to also see where we come from and where we end up with all the different composers and all the different ways that we can interpret a fighting game music and the spirit of a fighting game. You know what I mean? Yes. I mean, even though I didn't personally like it that much, I still think it's really cool and really worth listening to. I would love to know actually what you think of King of Fighters 98 and in general, because when I heard Arashi no Saxophone 2, well, maybe that's a later game. I'm getting my sort of time frames mixed up, but that one is like incredibly, yes, it repeats and there's a loop, but it's like incredibly deep. I love Guilty Gear and have featured it quite a bit on the channel. Guilty Gear Xrd, I always forget how to pronounce this, Xrd, Revelator Freesia's theme. Holy shit. That's
This is a space.
What?
This is a space. Can you hear me? Air's enough. No need to worry.
Wow.
At least enough for two. This is a space.
What?
Information, resources, you have everything. Find what's lacking is far more difficult, except one little thing. The whole world is kind to me, but sorry, wearing a fine suit, paying by your credit card, but I cannot prove myself.
Jeez.
This is a space, babe. This is a space, babe. Can you hear me? The world may crumble down with just one piece missing. The whole world is kind to me.
Wow.
But sorry, wearing the shiny crown, paid by your watches, I still will not convince myself.
That's terrific.
This the center
West
of
Virginia.
but
Blue
without
Ridge
her,
Mountains.
I'm not here.
Cool, upper edge. God. Ah! What? Boom, shut, top, boom, ba. I love it. A little bit of craziness in there. Very just beautiful piano.
Freesia! Here I am, and sorry, flying through the galaxies, hands shaken everywhere, but I want you by my side. The whole world is kind to me.
Gorgeous upper register harmony. Holy shit.
Wearing the fine suit, paying by a credit card, but I cannot prove myself.
Oh, and then the dial back as we fade out, as we end. Whoa. Boom. Man, that's amazing. Guilty Gear's music, I think, caused me to wake up to like new soundscapes. It's been a real blast to explore its like ins and outs and take a look at what makes it so special and so unique, and Blaze Blue as well. That particular piece really catches me off guard. I know it's the end credits, and but again, even that being an end credits theme is really just like shocking to me, because it's like it's a ballad, you know, and it's ultimately like a conversation with oneself about life and like what are we doing, like what is the point of all of this, you know, like it's and then it shifts into like the waltz part. It almost makes you laugh. Like it's like you gotta laugh. Like holy shit. Like ha, this is crazy. Boom, bop, bo, bop, bo. What I love about Guilty Gear's music in general, and especially the more recent stuff that I've heard, because it's so genre bending. It's extremely heartfelt. It's extremely real, and even though half the time I can't make a single ounce of sense of the poetic transliteration and like how it's supposed to, like, it doesn't always make sense to me. You can tell that it wears its heart on its sleeve. And obviously, like, you either understand it or you don't, but you ultimately don't really need to, because the music does such a good job of connecting us emotionally to the circumstances or to the character. Like, this really feels like a holy crap, what just happened? You know, like that's the vibe of that piece. Even though it's like an end credit. I mean, like you would expect like an end credits to be like exuberant and in front of your face and kind of smacking you about like, hey, we just finished the game. And instead this like goes a different direction. It subverts expectation, which I think makes it such a richly satisfying thing to listen to. Of all the pieces that we've listened to so far today, I mean, all of these have been individually interesting. But for me, Freesia, Snow Castle, Killing Moon, and Blood Drain again, Eltman's theme, those have been the ones that have really stuck out to me that I personally really enjoy and would listen to happily. I mean, I would listen to all of these on my own, but those four have been amazing. That said, we still have got more to go, because next up is Dead or Alive 2. Everyone knows about Dead or Alive. Blazed up Melpomene from Dead or Alive 2. Let's check it out. I just love this. I love when video games take a classical piece of music and they say, hey, let's remix it and spin it so that it works for our game. Let's spin it so that it feels fresh and new. And yeah, man, I mean, it's incredible how cool it is to hear something like this. Hear Vivaldi in a Dead or Alive, right? I don't necessarily know what style of music this is, right? But either way, it doesn't really matter. It's sort of electronic meets metal. It's just so satisfying. Like, as a classical musician, to hear this music, like, the validation of it cannot be understated, because like for years we would go into schools and sing operas and you know, symphony performers go and they play in small ensembles for school kids, and so to know that there's like a subset of people that played Dead or Alive 2, most certainly for the music, of course, and know that they may be like, oh, that's that piece, and that might actually get them into like classical music. I don't know, man. Like that's really exciting. On the one hand, I feel that way. On the other hand, it's like, you know, like it'd be cool to see like a totally remix. So it's like not the same. Well, let's keep listening. Yeah. I mean, even there, the harp is going absolutely nuts. It really does take that Vivaldi. I just had to look up to confirm that was Vivaldi Winter. It is, in fact, Vivaldi's Winter. The harp is amazing. Like, just the rolling up and the rolling down, it really starts to deviate away from Vivaldi's Winter, and it really starts to get its own fragrance, if you will. But it still retains it. I like this. Yeah, and here's really cool because it goes ba yada da. And so there's the sense of galvanization. You know, it's a funny thing. I'm a little still hung up on that Vivaldi's Winter thing because I don't actually know why Vivaldi chose to have a piece of music that was so intense for winter, which tends to be like a time period of great hibernation. But maybe there's the angst in that. Whereas in Dead or Alive 2, the Vivaldi Winter, that ends up being more agitated and angry. And, and obviously there's the thrill of the fight. But here there's a little bit of like, you can do it. There's hope. There's motivation. There's movement. It's really interesting. Call and response. And we have it in the electric guitar a little bit. Random key shifts there. Oh, nice. Oh. Wow, this track has a lot of movement. Yeah, so it's cool to have the like Vivaldi thing that we know and then take it and modify it, even though we keep the real structure of the Vivaldi Winter in there, and also add the harp and add the electric guitar, which is really, really, really cool. I think it's a piece that really feels desperate. I think it's a piece that really feels agitated. And I think it's a piece that really, I think, leans into what makes that Vivaldi Winter so interesting and also takes it and enhances it. I'm not necessarily crazy about it because I would have liked a little bit more fleshing out, but it's certainly not a bad piece. And in fact, I think it's a really cool, again, reinterpretation of something that is so well known that someone who's played Dead or Alive 2 may not even realize that that's like a classical piece, and that's like something to be really celebrated, I think, and appreciated. I mean, we're just punching the surface, get it? We're really just scratching the surface when it comes to fighting game music. There truly is so much, and I have at least another 20 or 40 songs that I want to cover on the channel, so definitely let me know which fighting game tracks you want me to listen to next. Drop those in the comments below, and as always, thanks a ton, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a ton, everybody, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.